Good Monday. I'm student meteorologist Ian Cassette.
And I'm student meteorologist Brandon Moll.
Oh, Brandon, how was your weekend?
Oh, it was fantastic. I mean, a little cold, a little dreary for my taste, but, you know, I mean, it's nice that the sun finally made a return back.
Oh, absolutely. We've been missing the sun here, so definitely got to see a bright and sunny day. It was a bit on the muggy side, but I won't really complain about that because I'm not really a fan of the cold.
No, definitely not. I mean, it's nice that we're going to have some 80s to look forward to this week even, but definitely better than what we saw in Southern California earlier this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Southern California saw a bit of an anomaly, if you will. They had hail on their beach and got a great picture. A good number of pictures came up on social media sites. You can see here, picture taken by Chris Dolce, was a good amount of hail. It actually looks like snow. It's kind of funny.
It's like a winter wonderland out there.
But yeah, they had a good amount of hail associated with some thunderstorms there.
Yeah.
But it's much needed, really, the precipitation, because they've been in a severe drought for a good amount of time.
They really have. They're entering their 4th year of it now, and it's not looking too good as far as agriculture for this summer and the harvest and whatnot. So
it's going to be another rough summer.
They'll take the precipitation however they can get it.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was a bit different of weather for them.
Yeah, you definitely don't see that in California too often.
But back here, we've got some weather upcoming for you, and we're going to send it to the wall with Paxton.
Thank you, guys. Well, today it's been off to a hot start this week at 79 this afternoon. We haven't seen the high 70s in quite some time, and they will be sticking around for the next couple days. And we did have a low of 53 earlier this morning, so it's very mild, and it's getting into the summer-like weather here again in Tallahassee. Satellite and radar is showing that we do have a few clouds in our area, a few showers off to the northwest, but mostly nice and clear for us today. It was just overcasty the whole time, not a lot of sun in our area either. And as we take a little glimpse ahead, we have clouds and fog developing overnight. We have a mild, partly cloudy day again tomorrow, and the rain will return again coming into Thursday. And this morning there was also a lot of fog and low-level clouds, and that will be sticking around again tomorrow morning again. And then for tonight in Tallahassee, it's going to be 59 degrees. The clouds will be lingering, and like I was saying, the fog will be returning yet again tomorrow morning. But right now we're just going to hand this right back over to the desk.
Thank you, Paxton. Now, as we look around the rest of the world, we actually had some interesting events happen in history here.
Yeah, we did. Not too long ago, actually, in 2007, we had a sandstorm hit in western China, and actually the winds associated with it were strong enough to derail a train.
Yeah, they had some strong winds there, and even as we move on into Jacksonville, on the other side of things, they had cold weather there, as cold as I think it's ever been there, right?
Yeah, especially this late in the season. I mean, it's very rare to get freezing in Florida into March, but 24 degrees, and that's a really hard freeze. And then you can juxtapose that with 103 degrees on the same day a couple years much later, actually, in 2011, pretty recently, 103 degrees in Laredo, Texas. I mean, that's real opposite ends of the spectrum right there.
Yeah, that's very brutal. And, I mean, if you look at that and you have warm temperatures and cold temperatures, I mean, this kind of stuff happens every day. It's weather. It's constantly changing. But we're going to send back to the wall with Paxton with more on what's happening in Tallahassee.
Like you guys were saying, we have those warm and cold temperatures going on here as well. And currently it's 75, overcasty. It's been overcasty all day today. The sun hasn't really been shining through that much, but tomorrow and Wednesday will be clearing up again right before the rain comes again Wednesday night into Thursday. Currently 75 in Tallahassee. It's in the lower to mid 70s across the Big Bend region. So it's kind of mild out there today, something that we're not used to. We're used to these colder temperatures, but Florida is just pretending to be Seattle for these past couple of days. It's nice to actually finally be heating back up. There is no rain or anything on our radar right now throughout the whole day, just like I was saying, just the clouds. But otherwise, it's nice and clear rain-wise. Futurecast is showing we do have this cold front attached to this low pressure system moving into our region tomorrow morning into tomorrow afternoon, and then this front becomes a stationary front, and there's possible flash flooding in Alabama and Georgia due to all this rain associated with this secondary cold front that will be coming into our area Wednesday night into Thursday, bringing in some more rain and lowering our temperatures just a little bit, which you guys will see on the 7-day in just a few minutes. But like I was saying, this cold front has all these rain and showers associated with it, and that will be bringing in the clouds and moisture into our area yet again. For tonight, it's going to be 59, clouds will be lingering. And again, like I was saying earlier, you will be having some foggy conditions going into tomorrow morning, much like what was this morning. So if you do have to go drive, just exercise caution, be aware, have your fog lights on if you do have them. For tomorrow, it's going to be 78 degrees, and it's going to be our last rain-free day until that front starts moving into our area. And 78 degrees is quite nice if you ask me. I love the warmth, and this is definitely what I like. I don't like the 60s or 50s, but those temperatures are going to be returning yet again in the next couple of days. And then looking at our 7-day, like I was saying, it's going to be clear tomorrow. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the rain chances increase, but that front that comes through, look what it does to our temperatures. It makes it 50 Friday morning, or Friday as the high. And those low temperatures begin to dip right back down again, but don't you worry, they'll be increasing later on into next week and over the weekend. But you know, the weekend weather's kind of nice right now. Not much rain, just a little bit of clouds, but it gets sunny again Sunday. But right now, we're just going to hand this on over to Daniel for more on the southeast.
Thanks a lot. Well, we looked at Tallahassee, so we're going to go ahead and look at the entire southeast. You see 75 there. You go a little bit further north, a little bit colder. You see Atlanta at 58, Montgomery at 60. That's a big difference right there. Savannah, you see at 73. There's a huge temperature increase that they just went through. We'll get in that in just a second. But you see all down through Florida sitting right in the 70s. Real nice. Even all along the Gulf Coast, you see through Alabama, Mobile, down through New Orleans, all 70s there. Moving on, though, we're going to take a look at a 24-hour temperature change. I saw this one. This was a great one just for Savannah. You see they've gone up 23 degrees from where they were yesterday. That's a huge increase there at this time of day. You see Tallahassee's up 11. We hit 80 today, which is absolutely awesome. I love this warm weather, and it's got a good little break from the cold weather that Paxton was just talking about earlier, how we're going to get down to 50. Well, looking down down further south in the state, pretty much consistent there, only +3 in Orlando. You see Tampa, Miami, Key West, all really no big changes. Atlanta +12, looking over to New Orleans, we got +11 there. Radar, just look at the rain that's coming through with this front. Not really a whole lot in our area, but if you look towards Mississippi, Louisiana, Little Rock, Arkansas, and into Montgomery and Birmingham, Alabama, it's got a lot of rain coming through, and we could see this in the next few days or so. And you see Atlanta starting to get some spots there also. But this is much, much different because you look at the satellite imagery. Cloud cover is just absolutely everywhere today. You see earlier, you couldn't really see the sun, and this morning it was actually bright out, and then the clouds started moving in. It looked like it was going to rain, but it didn't at any point. But that's not a whole lot of fun. Well, current relative humidity, you see 62 here. Montgomery's 90 because it's raining. You see Mississippi and Alabama, and even into Louisiana, all real dark green. That says the sign that the relative humidity is really, really high, which gives us the chance of rain there. Well, radar. Well, actually, this was one we're going to go into the surf report real quick because we do have some surf in the East Coast. You see over in Jacksonville and down to Cocoa Beach, down into Daytona, they're going to see 3 to 4 feet over the next few days. And even up as you get into Georgia, they're going to have some spots that are going to be up to 2 to 3 for the next couple days. But unfortunately for the Gulf Coast, only about 1 to 2 from here all the way down through Pensacola and down to Alabama Point. Not a whole lot going on. So if you want to have some surf, you're probably going to have to go East Coast, which is at least a 3-hour drive for Jacksonville Pier. Tonight's forecast, we're going to see a low of 59. Looking all around, not too off the normal for the whole area. You see Savannah at 55, Atlanta at 50. You don't see a whole lot of blue creeping down like you did last week. Looking further south, you see 71 in Miami, 72 in Key West. And as I step out of the way and we get into tomorrow, you see that we do have some cloud cover to the north of us. We're going to have 80 here in Tallahassee again, so not much change between these couple days. And you look over to New Orleans, 77, pretty typical from what we've seen. But Ian, let's see, what do we have going on right now?
Well, we actually have some great tips for you about keeping your pets safe during the winter when things get very cold.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, so you have cats and dogs, right? So cats like to go outside and you have to take your dogs for walks.
Yeah.
But they can get frostbite just like we can, correct?
Absolutely, and even quicker than people can, and you have to be able to tell when your dog is going through signs of it, which may be hard to tell, but according to Dr. Ann Tierney, she says that you should keep your dogs, be aware if they are chewing their paws, if they are picking up their paws, doing any funny motions, because these are signs they could be experiencing the early onsets of hypothermia.
Well, that's not a good sign at all. Well, make sure also to keep your other pets inside, like your fish. They need to be inside or else the bowl would freeze, right?
You got to keep your fish indoors or else they're going to freeze if you're outside. And also with cats aren't as obvious as dogs, like most things in life. And sometimes they can do similar kind of zany things too. You have to know your cat and know the signs of hypothermia. But we are going to send it back to the wall with more.
All right, thanks, Ian. When you look at those current conditions nationwide, you notice a lot of that blue dipping, especially in the middle sector of the country, a lot of 30s and 40s, 48 in San Antonio. Even chilly over in Phoenix, 54 degrees with all that rain just over, especially with Cactus League baseball starting to get play there for spring training. While the warm spot right now is actually in the southeast over Tallahassee into Miami. Those 70s are just creeping up towards the north into South Carolina. But we're going to break this down, the temperature change. A lot of orange, a lot of warmer temperatures heading towards the Canadian border in the plains. The cooler temperatures dominating in the southwest and over the southeast. Again, that warmth that even extends as far north as Boston. This will eventually be a problem, especially now in the next 24 hours with a couple of weather systems coming through. The radar right now, we do see some showers over the southeast. I was mentioning in the earlier segments from Louisiana all the way up into Georgia and even some snow over Maine. But further west, this is the big system to talk about. It's going to affect pretty much every single state. But we're going to break that down. The southeast, that showers extend through Atlanta and even all the way down to Tupelo and Shreveport. This is a cold front that will eventually sag over to Tallahassee later on tonight into tomorrow before it becomes a stationary front, just keeping us with that unsettled, cloudy weather we've been seeing for the last couple of days. The snow over the northeast, a lot of snow over the New York into Vermont and even Maine. This will eventually push towards the east. A lot of this snow will continue to fall and accumulate, but really the west, that's really where just the main activity is all at. There's a low pressure just spinning off the coast of California. You can notice it just south of San Francisco. A lot of heavy rain over Phoenix. There's actually a flood warning in effect until tomorrow. There's even heavy snow blowing into Colorado, Utah, and Nevada, and even to New Mexico and the Four Corners. Blizzard warnings are in effect for parts of Colorado. This also will extend further into the Midwest in the next couple of days. Blizzard warnings already in effect also for Minnesota and even North Dakota and even South Dakota. And we're even going to see even winter weather watches all the way as far south as even Arkansas, Mississippi, and Alabama. But you notice in the Pacific Northwest, just a couple of showers here and there. Only 4 states are without any warnings, advisories, or watches whatsoever, and that's Washington, Oregon, Kansas, and Oklahoma. The rest of the country is bombarded with some sort of watches or warnings. For delays right now, 0 throughout most of the country. The only exception is Las Vegas, and that's mostly due to the winds blowing at about 20 miles per hour tonight. You notice a lot of those temperatures really chilly, 7 degrees in Billings, 49 in Phoenix, kind of uniform, especially towards the south with those 40s, 50s, and 60s, extending with that warm, toasty 71 in Miami. But tomorrow, that's really when the storm will begin to crank up. The snow will push towards Minnesota into Detroit, and that will set stage for even rain showers all the way to Washington, D.C., where flooding will occur with a flood watch in effect for the Appalachians for Tuesday and Wednesday. And now we're going to send it over to Brandon with our local 2.
Thanks, Ulysses. I mean, a lot of widespread weather going on across the country, but nothing too severe in our neck of the woods. Taking a look at the weather headlines right behind me. Cloud developing overnight, so fog lights are a good idea come tomorrow morning. And then we're going to have a little bit of clouds building into tomorrow afternoon. And then the next big rain event is going to come Wednesday night and into Thursday morning. Now, taking a look around the region at our local temperatures, 75 degrees here at home in Tallahassee. Pretty much the same across the board, a little cooler as you work your way away from the coast, with the exception being Carabel at 65. The dew points are pretty high relative to our temperature. That's related to the front that just moved through, or didn't get enough to give us any precipitation related to it, but did increase our humidity just a little bit there. And you can really see that here on the water vapor. You can see a lot of whites around. Nothing too severely saturated like the greens we're seeing up in Georgia and Alabama, but it's going to stay dry for the next few days or so. And again, just reinforcing that here, saw the clouds build in as that front did approach its way in, but again, no precipitation associated with it. And you can look forward to that for the next few days or so. So breaking down those next few days, here's the cold front that just moved through our region today. It's going to stall its way out over South Florida and then retreat back northward slowly as a stationary front. And all the rain's going to stay to the northern regions of Georgia and Alabama. And then our next system is going to work its way on Wednesday and come Wednesday evening, or it's going to be just outside of our region, and then we can expect it to move through overnight Wednesday and again into Thursday morning. So looking for the beach forecast. If you're going to go to the beach, tomorrow's probably the best day to do it, maybe early on Wednesday. Still might be a little cold, water 63 degrees, and a little breezy for my taste as well. Those winds out of the southeast at 10 to 15 knots. Tonight though, pretty mild, 59 degrees here at home, pretty uniform actually across the board. Low spot of 56 in Thomasville. Really not too much variation behind that cold front. Then tomorrow, a little bit of a cool down related to that front, 62. Still very mild though, and pretty mild and comfortable. For the next few days to come, back into the 80s tomorrow, and back near 80 for the next few days. Lows staying around 60, and then you really see that cool down come in after that cold front pass through on Thursday morning, and the rain associated with it. That's all I got for you guys. Let's send it back to the desk.
Thank you so much, Brandon. Well, I saw Monday on that 7-day forecast, which is real exciting for us because that's the first day of our spring break.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure many of you are looking forward to our spring break, but we have that cool down that might be occurring for people that have spring break right now, such as University of Florida, that other school, and USF. They're getting great weather for this week for the most part, as temperatures are very spring-like. I mean, I'm sure they're very happy about that.
The only bad part you see at the end of the week near Friday, they said there's that 50% chance of rain there, which typically means that's going to be at least cloudy all day.
Yeah, if spring break's like a little hint of what's to come for summer, and I'm sure they're used to the rain, but I'd rather have the rain than the cold, and that might be what we deal with next week, but we will pay attention to that with our forecast, with what the weather's going to be. We may have a cool down coming through with that cold front late in the week.
Yeah, definitely. I know that it was good to see those temperatures start to go up just a little bit for next week, but it's still too early to see what's going to happen for ours. We can at least hope there's not going to be a cold front. Well, tell us what's going on around Florida, Ian.
Well, around Florida, you see temperatures are actually rather warm. I mean, we were talking about those warm temperatures for current spring breakers, and you see temperatures in the mid to upper 70s, even the 80s in Fort Myers, which is looking pretty great. We have warm temperatures in most of Florida, 75 in Tallahassee. So temperatures are very spring-like, very seasonable. This is what we look forward to, and I'm excited about this weather, and I hope that it continue to be this warm. You can see 24 hours ago, we are 11 degrees colder in Tallahassee, 11 degrees colder in Jacksonville, 3 in Orlando, about the same in South Florida. They deal with these warm temperatures, but for the most part, temperatures have increased with the current pattern that we have with that system. So as you look in through the water vapor, you can see the moisture that is across much of the southeast is dealing with that mugginess. I don't know if you felt that certain moisture and mugginess outside today, but it definitely felt sticky to me, and you can see that in the water vapor imagery as we have muggier conditions right now with those greens. Now, as we move on, you can look into the future cast. What we're going to expect for the rest of this week. We have a rather weak cold front that will be moving through overnight. You probably won't notice it. I don't think there is anything that signifies a cold front with this. But what is going to happen with this cold front is that it's going to push back up into the tomorrow and become stationary. Really just keeping that mugginess around, the stickiness. No real rain chances with this, but it will keep us on the warm side, as we have flash flooding possible north of us in Georgia and Alabama. But for the most part, no real difference with this here. But as we move on into Tuesday, you can see it's that cloudiness is going to stick around. So we saw the sun for today, but it may be more cloudy tomorrow and into Wednesday. But as we move on through Wednesday, you see another cold front is going to move into the picture, start to come across our way, and that's going to make its way across the rest of Florida and really cool us down towards the end of this week. For tonight's forecast, you can see temperatures are rather mild, 64 in Tampa, you see 65 in Fort Myers, 71 down in Miami. That's a rather warm night. 59 in Tallahassee with 58 in Jacksonville. So very mild conditions for winter. We saw temperatures last week that were in the 40s and 30s overnight, but that's definitely not the same story that we have going for right now. Tomorrow's forecast shows it's going to be even warmer than it was today. 80 in Tallahassee. That sun's going to be popping out, and it's going to show. We have 80 degrees there, 83 in Orlando, 82 down in West Palm Beach. So very warm conditions for most of Florida. This is definitely great for spring break. I'm excited about this weather. So we have warm temperatures for much of the area, lots of sun. And as we look into tomorrow night, temperatures once again are going to be on the mild side. 66 in Tampa, 59 in Tallahassee, 72 down in Miami. So very warm temperatures. I mean, 72 degrees at night. That's on the warmer side. So exciting conditions there. But as we move on into the next segment, we're going to throw it off to Joshua with winter weather on the other side of things. Josh, what do you have for us?
Thanks, Ian. And well, not too much to talk about in the winter side of it, but it definitely is colder up north than in the south. And today was an interesting day because really it could have been sunny or it could have been cloudy all day, and that really affected our temperatures. So since we had a lot of sunshine today, we got a nice little taste of spring here in Tallahassee. 75 still right now in Tallahassee. The clouds are moving back into the area though, so that's going to, level off our temperatures right now and really keep us muggy and humid tonight as we just have the moisture running in from the south. It's 58 right now in Atlanta with partly sunny skies. We got 41 here in Memphis, and then the cooler air is still very much to the north. Minneapolis at 24 degrees right now, 32 in Boston as well. So Boston, you've had a rough winter, and it continues. You're still near freezing right now as we talk. Plenty of clouds across the north. We still got snow up here in the northern side of the states, up in the northeast, and we got a big system here across the southwest streaming in, a bunch of clouds there. That's going to shift in our direction. But we're not really looking at too much in the way of severe weather like we did last week. We won't have to deal with severe weather this week, but plenty of clouds to talk about and a nice little cold front later in the week. Let's go to the Pacific Northwest. We got clouds mainly to inland areas, not over the coastal areas near Seattle and Portland, but we had east near Billings, Helena, Montana area. We got snow up in the mountainous areas. Plenty of snow still to go around. So winter's still around in the north. South, we're definitely warming up. Here's the southwest in the Four Corners area. You can see snow over the mountainous regions, higher elevations areas, but definitely a stream of moisture coming in from the south over the Pacific and the Gulf of Mexico. Here's the temperature change across the national spectrum. We got mainly warmth here in the southeast with the sunshine going around. And then we got warmth up in the north near the Central Plains area. And then we got where all that moisture is in the southwest Phoenix. 22 degrees cooler than it was this time yesterday. So the clouds are definitely having a big effect across the southwest. And again, even though we're 32 in Boston, you're actually 5 degrees warmer than yesterday. So it actually isn't too bad up there right now. Much better than it was a few weeks ago. We're in the negatives, below zero, and snow all over the place. But definitely warmer across the south. Springtime is on its way. Here's the wind chills, mainly up across the north. South, we're warm. Not much wind to talk about, but plenty across the Central Plains, northeast, and up where it's snowing up in Montana as well. For today, again, Boston actually reached 36 degrees, so we're falling back down near freezing right now, but 36 was the high for today, not too bad. 46 in D.C. in the capital, 79 in Tallahassee, wow, near 80 degrees. That sunshine definitely did play a huge role today. And it'll be the big-time role player for tomorrow as well. We'll get to that in just a second. 62 in Atlanta today, so that actually feels really nice for this time of year. 42 in Memphis. For tomorrow, again, we're going 80 degrees with sunshine, so the sunshine's going to be a big player for tomorrow. Clouds are going to keep the temperatures down, but I think 80 degrees is a nice temperature for tomorrow with plenty of sunshine to go around. And speaking of heat, I remember back in 1993, they were talking about heat across much of the South, and it was springtime was coming back around, but then something happened back in 1993 in March. What was that?
That was what they called Storm of the Century, which was this giant storm that came through March 12th to 15th of 1993, the year a lot of people in college right now were born, so really none of us remember that.
I know, I think I was like maybe a month old. I wish I was much older to remember this storm, but yeah, it definitely was a big time sequence of events that happens very rarely, and they had a big shortwave come across the south and really amplify that trough this far south this time of year.
Yeah, it didn't just affect the south. We saw huge snow totals in the north. You see right here that in Snowshoe, West Virginia, and their ski resort, they got 44 inches, which I know fresh powder is good, but 44 inches is quite a lot.
Absolutely. We'll get to that more of that storm in just a little bit, but right now we'll head back off to the wall.
Yes, as you guys mentioned earlier, the sun really played a role in the temperatures today. In fact, I didn't even know we were in the sunshine state anymore because we hadn't seen sun in the order of 1 to 2 weeks. But look how warm it got in Tallahassee today. It got up into the upper 70s, and even at the 6 o'clock hour, it's still in the 70s in Tallahassee. Remember just a couple of days ago, we were in the lower 50s. That was with the cloud cover and the cold air. that is eroded, and springtime is here with the lower 70s. And you can expect that to continue for tomorrow into the next several days. The local radar really shows nothing going on along in our local area. There's some clouds up around Atlanta and the southeast. That is associated with the cold front, and that will be coming south as we progress a little bit later. And for tonight, we are going to be cool with middle 50s, not quite as cold as it was this morning. We're going to see some fog because with the clouds and the moisture around, there's some fog near the coast, and that will propagate inland. So if you have to drive tomorrow morning, it's going to be a very treacherous drive. Please allow yourself some extra time. For tomorrow, we're going to see still some mild conditions. The only question is going to be if we're going to have the clouds around. So far, we're not expecting the clouds, but upper 70s to possibly lower 80s in the warmest spots. Definitely a big, big improvement of where it was a couple of days ago. Going through the 7-day forecast, we're going to go with upper 70s on Tuesday. On Wednesday, still some upper 70s. It'll be pretty warm. And we're going to see warm low temperatures too. We don't really see 50s around the area that much. Thursday and Friday, a cold front will come through, and that will bring the clouds back, and once again, another very cool day. In fact, Friday, we might not even get to 50 degrees. Look at the low on Friday night, back to the cold, 44. Now, this is pretty important because I know all of you are going down for spring break, but it won't be this cold down in South Florida. It'll be closer to about 70 to 75 degrees south of I-4, and that's where most of our population lives because it's Florida State, and we're from the state of Florida, most of us. So as we go later on into the weekend, and then I pull out, you'll see the upper 60s will return for the rest of the week with lower 40s as we moderate. Now let's send it back to the desk.
Thank you so much. Well, you know, we were talking about all that snow. We actually had a little bit in the south in Mobile. We got 3 inches there, but we're going to bring that back to Tallahassee, see what happened there.
And speaking of, Tallahassee was definitely a big-time player for pressure with the storm of the century. That was the big-time player in Tallahassee was the pressure. The lowest pressure ever recorded in Tallahassee, and it still stands. It still stands that way. Last week we had that low-pressure system. I remember watching it, and I remember seeing like some miles were going like sub 1,000 millibars, but nothing compares to 1993 in Tallahassee.
Yeah, it's really rare to dip below 1,000 millibars, and we only did that once since that storm, and that was last week, correct?
Yes, absolutely. I think we reached 999 or somewhere around there, but definitely not near that 974 range in the storm of the century.
Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible.
It'd definitely take a lot to break that, for sure.
Here's the rest of the week for you, though. We got a chance of rain coming late Wednesday as that cold front slowly sags our direction. On Thursday, we'll start to see more rain changes, especially early in the day. You can follow us on Facebook.
You can also like us on Twitter and watch us all the time at livestream.com.
Absolutely. Always watch us. It's always fun to watch our shows over and over again. We have so much fun on this show, and we hope you enjoyed it tonight. Stay safe out there. Enjoy the warmth as it comes this week. A little taste of spring for y'all out there. Enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm student meteorologist Joshua Rivas.
I'm Dana McFarland. Everyone have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.